girl like that.
Catwalk?
There's a girl up there.
It just kind of go.
Yeah, I see.
It doesn't click. You kind of gotta.
It's my fault. I got this.
I'm way too fat.
Sort of. Make sure we don't touch that. So put that over there. Stop me touching it.
Time you want to start talking? Got about 20 minutes.
Can tell.
Yep. We're live now. And there might be one or two people.
Hello, 1 or 2 people.
The train wreck is about to begin.
You're about to get your money. Can we turn that music down? We're trying to sleep in here.
Yeah. Like I'm legit surprised there wasn't like a hobo. I was going to see spiders though. I think this booth is haunted.
If you're lucky, you might get bitten by a radioactive one. Now that I'd like to see. Spider Jason.
They're terrified of spiders.
Oh really? I didn't know that. That's good to know that.
It's good, yeah. It's nice that they let you know all my deep. Well, you and the what? How many listeners? 1 or 2? Who are probably JT or.
So Quasi Tambo, Lucy, Subs. So it looks like Subs, Megan, Burt, and the midfield Macias, Kim, Malima, and then I know that Uzo's through the middle. So Marty must be out left, Malcolm out right. Okay. I did see Macias for the first time. Real.
Look at this. They got like a button for cough and a talk back.
Yeah, Roland, if you're listening, man, you just have it set up for success.
Yeah. We got random sunglasses here.
There's
I'm sure that's above board.
Josh Howe, or Tom Cruise, circa Top Gun. There aren't many people here right now, which I'm going to go ahead and just imagine is because people are so excited to hear our commentary. We made them stay home.
Perhaps, yeah. We may have. I guess I should probably be doing the. Come on down. Plenty of seats still available. You missed out on the dollar beers, but.
Jason and I are selling tickets on the gate. It's $20 a piece.
Mention the hot phrase, it pays to play. KWFM FM FM. Breeze is heavenly.
Yeah, it really is.
To anyone listening, here's your lineup for tonight's Switchbacks. I'm going to assume Piatti is in goal and not playing center forward. Good to see Marty Maven.
Oh, you're going with the old-fashioned, let me just name people as I randomly see their picture approach to do the lineup.
Yeah, I'm, players, stuff. What is with this contraption in front of us?
I know. Excuse me, sir, you're blocking our view with a very small pipe.
Down on the, that you can get up there.
I'm imagining this must be one of those things that rotate. Cameras up high and they rotate.
Yeah.
Okay guys, anyone who is listening, Backchat Show is live on social media on Facebook. You can search Backchat Show, find our page, or you can find us on Twitter at Backchat Show. You're welcome to go ahead and post any comments there during the broadcast. We're going to try to check social media at least once a half if we're able, and also of course at halftime as well. Stick around at halftime because we're going to have the FC Denver president, Eric Fulton, join us. He's going to come up here into the booth and just have a quick chat about FC Denver's season and their progress to this second round match against the Switchbacks tonight, and hopefully we can talk a little about the first half as well. Yeah, I forgot to tell you, you're going to need to ditch your mic at halftime.
It's weird because you were used to having cans on the head, and so I'm just like, okay, when do you want to...
Talking to ourselves, basically. The strange man in the corner just mumbles to himself.
For anyone out there, send help.
No, I want to feel like I'm, is it Bad Harry? No, who's Christian Slater's character in Pump Up the Volume?
Joel did not, okay. So this is also, we might as well, since we're being candid here, just want to inform everyone this is an unofficial broadcast, and I was in an email Joe back and forth with Josh Akala, who is the runs the U.S. Open media site, and upon hearing that we were officially unsanctioned by the league or by anyone, I had that Christian Slater joke saying I feel quite rebellious now, almost Christian Slater-like, and no one got the reference. I am so relieved to hear that you got it.
Absolutely, man. That's a cracking movie. Oh, is it not? It's not Bad Harry. It's not Dirty Harry. Obviously, a different movie.
It's Christian Slater.
Yeah,
or just Slater.
Character. Get anyone listening who happens to know. You could Google it, but where's the fun in that?
The name of the the phrase that pays.
Okay,
we'll call up a random number, and if you know who Christian Slater played, or it's gonna drive you nuts now, isn't it?
Yeah, anyone who the first person to come back to us gets a prize from Nick Reagan.
Tell him Christian Slater sent you.
Exactly.
Or just Slater.
Here we go. The name was Hard Harry.
Hard Harry.
Hard Harry.
Is it on Netflix? I'm gonna have to watch that now.
Yeah, me too. I haven't seen it forever.
You want me to put it up on the iPad here? Or? By the way, if you're on Twitter and you cannot hear us, I guess that doesn't make sense. I say let us know if you can't hear us, but if you can't hear us, you wouldn't got that message. Again, the phrase that pays is Hard Harry.
A legendary commentary in England, and this is legit. There was a snooker match taking place in England. It was being televised. Snooker's like pool, but on a big boy table, and lots of different coloured balls. And the commentator, and this was way back in the day, and the commentator said, "Oh, and such Jones just went ahead and pointed that red. For anyone who's watching on black and white, it was the one nearest the green."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't think we have very many famous phrases in American broadcast journalism. I mean, there's, do you believe in miracles? Joe Namath trying to force Susie Colbert to kiss him. You weren't around. You probably weren't in the States back then. That was awkward.
Mark Turner's a wanker.
Mark Turner's a wanker.
Does that chat every podcast?
I wouldn't say wanker. Yeah. I speak American.
You wouldn't say wanker. You have a lot more colourful.
T-shirts done by our merchandise group from top of the concourse. Pick up the latest and greatest Switchbacks gear.
Yes, if you're for some reason here and listening to us at the stadium, the merch lines are very short. not a lot happening here. And we can't make stuff up now because it's being broadcast. But let's go ahead.
Jason, look at those full stands.
Oh,
That must be
it's a
5 or 6 people here.
yeah. I see the Bruisers are up representing.
Excellent. Now, there's no base camp tonight, so are the trailheads just dotted around?
The spot. The idea was to all get together.
Okay.
But I don't really see anyone, and
It's weird being the only people on the west side.
it's creepy.
So the west side, for those who aren't here, and obviously the cameras are facing toward the east side, so you won't be able to see this on the feed, but the west side is entirely empty. The Switchbacks closed it off and directed all traffic to the east side in anticipation of there not being too many people here this evening. I wanted to keep the crowds condensed on one side of the stadium. It helps, like Jason said, with merchandise and with all the concessions and whatnot, and not having them spread out on both sides of the stadium unnecessarily. So, that being said, we are still looking at maybe, I don't know, again on for maybe 150 perhaps, being generous.
Yeah.
In the stadium. But as we know, tradition at Fortress Sand Creek is that everybody arrives after the opening whistle.
Yeah. At least 20 minutes.
They're all sat in the cars in the parking lot with their windows down, with their ears out the window, and they hear, "Okay, let's go. That's it. That's our cue."
All right. Well, while we're waiting for it, nothing appears to be happening right now, and since Mark and I are not professional commentators, we will go ahead and just kind of do this as we go along. I'm going to throw up the starting 11 for FC Denver.
Do you want me to take that, and you take the Switchbacks?
Yeah, if you want. That didn't come out well. Looks like in goal we've got number 1, Michael Moberg. Kyle Kraus at left back. The center backs are Drew Millen and Joel Miller. We have Nabil Odolate as your right back. Coming up, we've got defensive center mids. We've got Marco Escobar and Peter Jacobson. And attacking center mid, LaShaw Salta. On the left wing, we've got Alex Bernhardt. On the center forward is Cesar Mashum Castilla. And you want to take the last one?
Yeah, you're doing great. Go for it.
Fernando Magallanes.
It's Y.
Magallanes?
Magallanes. Yeah, very good. Excellent.
Yeah.
Your Switchbacks starting 11 tonight includes many unfamiliar faces, with this being an Open Cup game and this kind of being Switchbacks tradition. In this second round match, they tend to give those guys who haven't got very many minutes so far this season an opportunity to stretch their legs. In goal, Luis Poati, who has played a good number of minutes this season, but we know the last couple of games he's been on the bench. Stuart Sayus has taken that number 1 shirt, but Moise returns to the starting lineup tonight. In front of Moise, we have Tambe and Abusi forming this centre-back partnership. That means that Jamal Jack is on the bench this evening. In fact, I think he's nursing a slight knock from the last game against Las Vegas. Nonetheless, Abusi and Tambe, a pretty imposing centre-back partnership. At left back, captain Josh Suggs, and at right back, Jordan Burt, who has been deployed more in midfield this season, but is taking up right back position. Of course, very familiar to him, having played there for the last 2 seasons for our Switchbacks. In midfield, Kim returns to the starting lineup, having been out of the squad for the last, out of the starting 11 at least, for the last few matches. And then 2 relatively one entirely unfamiliar face, and I don't think this young man has registered any minutes this season. And then we have a player who's been coming off the bench pretty much all season long and actually gets a start now. The first is Uriel Macias, who again we haven't seen at all this season. He's been on the bench a couple of times, we've seen him in warm-ups, but this will be the first time we see him on the ball for the Switchbacks in a competitive match. And then Valima, who I have to say looks really good to me. Whenever I've seen him on the ball, I've been very impressed. I think he suffers from being behind Luca Vercaloni. He looks to me to be cut from similar cloth, and it's hard when you're tucked in behind one of the legends of the USL. I imagine you would struggle to get minutes. Nonetheless, he starts this evening. In the centre forward position, no AJ Ajayqua tonight. In fact, one of Jason's faves, Toby Uzo. gets his second start, I think, is the season. No, first start of the season. I know he came in one game relatively early in the game due to an injury to another player, but no, I think this is his first start of the season, and he will lead the line through the centre. Flanked by Shane Malcolm and Marty Mabin. We don't know which side they'll play yet, but we're assuming Shane will probably take up his typical position out wide on the right, meaning Marty will fill in on the left. Delighted to see Marty Mabin get a start. He only had one start so far this season, and of course it was that ill-fated game where within 10 minutes into the match he picked up an injury and had to be subbed out. So I know he is champing at the bit. Having talked to him a little today, I know he's anxious to get out there and register his first goal of the season for the Switchbacks. Bench is filled with a lot of familiar faces: Stuart Sayus, Luke Vercaloni, Joy Schweitzer, Said Robinson, Jamal Jack, as I mentioned earlier, Taylor Hunter. So it's a pretty good deep bench. Certainly some experienced guys there that Wally Harris, who's coached tonight in Steve Tritch's absence, can call upon should the Switchbacks need that experience.
Excellent. Well, that happened.
That's right. We're done. Thank you. I'm already tired.
This is Uzo's first start as a switchback. He came on fairly late last season. Didn't get much playing time, but I do think this is his first start. And it's glad to see Marty Mabin back. Who, if we're going to have a Mr. Open Cup in Switchbacks history, it would be Marty Mabin. I believe he's in the first 2 years he was here. I think he collected 3 or 4 goals. I know he scored.
I know I'm going out on a limb here, but I'm sure someone is going to correct us, but I almost want to go so far as to say he might be the Switchbacks' all-time top goal scorer in Open Cup games.
Oh, I would probably believe it. I think I'll have to look that up.
He or Jordan Burt. He or Jordan. Because I know Jordan got a couple on the road in Phoenix. Well, back before they were Phoenix, so just Arizona United, right?
Yeah, they were.
I think Jordan got
the
one
desert.
or two on the road. Yeah. So, and there's Vinny from the Gazette. I know. How exciting is this commentary? There's Vinny. Oh, his hair looks good tonight. Look at those flowing locks.
Must be nice to be that young, have that kind of hair.
Did you see how he sprang up the stairs? That was just showing off.
Like falling in reverse. So in case you haven't figured it out, tonight's going to be a fairly low-tech adventure. Please excuse any technical difficulties that are entirely due to Mark. Should we get anything right, that is all me right there.
Feels like I'm at home right now.
Yeah, that's what I try to do.
Well, we appreciate you joining us on this May 16th, 2018 at beautiful Weidner Field at the foot of the Rocky Mountains in the shadow of Pikes Peak here in Colorado Springs, Colorado for the 105th Lamar Hunt US Open Cup second round match between Colorado Springs Switchbacks and FC Denver, who, as I'm sure you all know by now, defeated Azteca FC in the first round, fellow Colorado Premier League opposition, by a score of 4-2. So Jason, tonight it's David versus Goliath. We never often get to call the Switchbacks Goliath, but that's what they are this evening, being the pro team facing off against the amateur club. This is the romance of the cup tonight, Jason. What do you think? What do you think of the matchup this evening?
Well, seeing as I have not seen anything or heard much about FC Denver, they do seem to have the majority of the crowd behind them. So definitely don't have the elevation advantage, and at some point, at some point, there's going to be a surprise. It seems like every year we kind of take the U.S. Open Cup less and less. I wouldn't say serious, but last year we didn't advance in past Oklahoma City. If I recall, they defeated us here in Fortress Sand Creek, and we actually had quite a lot. If I recall, last year we also we had when FC Tucson was up here. They actually played us fairly close. It wasn't until we had we scored 2 goals right at the start of the second half that really put the distance between us. So
we have to be hoping for more tonight. I remember the FC Tucson game well. I still have nightmares about it. It was an incredibly dour first half. As Jason mentioned, the Switchbacks were able to spark things alive early in the second half and essentially end the game as a contest within the first 10 minutes. Hopefully tonight we will see
A better game with more goals. Certainly FC Denver have goals in them, as I mentioned before, winning 4-2 in the previous round. And we know that the Switchbacks have a couple of really hungry strikers coming off the bench tonight in Uzo and Mabin, who are going to be anxious to register their first goals of the season. Both teams walking out now to the halfway line.
Your Colorado Springs Switchbacks. And now for tonight's Switchbacks FC starting lineup. Number 44, Jordan Burke. Number 3, Pascal Lucy. Number 35, Taysong Kim. Number 19, Uriel Macias. Number 9, Marty Maven. Number 15, JJ Conley. Number 1, Moise Boati. Number 5, and your captain, Josh Suggs. Number 24, Kobe Uzo. And number 7, Berneri Valina. The Switchbacks are coached tonight by assistant coach Colby Harris and goalkeeper coach Trey Harrington. And now to honor America, please rise and remove your hats to the playing of the national anthem presented by Pregame Motors.
All right, looks like we've got the pregame festivities have concluded. See the Switchbacks are coming out in their away whites. Is it possible that you were unplugged this entire time? That is awesome. So, assuming that anyone didn't hear Mark, he orated a beautiful soliloquy. Shakespearean almost.
Oh, sod it, I'm going to do it again. Thank you for joining us. It's May 16th, 2018 at beautiful Weidner Field in Colorado Springs, Colorado, at the foot of the Rocky Mountains in the shadow of Pikes Peak for this 105th Lamar Hunt USSSA round. I'm going to do my soliloquy again.
Yeah, this week, if you happen to get booted off the feed, we should be back up.
Yeah, do bear with us this evening, guys. We have cobbled the visual together tonight. We had the audio down last season. This is the first time we've integrated cameras, so please do be patient with us and we'll try and do the best we possibly can. In the event that we lose the visual, we'll try and maintain the audio as best as possible. So Jason, as I was saying, David versus Goliath this evening, with FC Denver being an amateur outfit, Switchbacks of course being professional second tier here in the US. You expecting a pretty tight affair this evening, or are you expecting the Switchbacks' professional status to overwhelm FC Denver?
Well, honestly, I would hope that we would come out and clearly on paper we're, a better team. FC Denver's made up mainly of some college players, some players who've been around lower division soccer, and even though some might call what we're putting out right now our B team, I think just about everyone who is starting tonight has, at some point or another, has played significant minutes with us. So, while the obvious it would be an upset if we were to lose, I have a hard time seeing it happen. But eventually David does slay Goliath at some point, and we're 4 years in, having in the previous 3 years, having tight matches, getting out of the gates at the first match of the U.S. Open Cup. So who knows? If there's a team that can do it, I think one that's based out of Colorado probably has the best chance.
So the team's ready to go. The Switchbacks shooting toward the northern goal this first half. Given that I wasn't plugged in my microphone here earlier, you may not have heard the Switchbacks lineup. You may have seen it online, but just in case you haven't, Moise Poati in goal, with Tambay and Abuse playing centre back directly ahead of him. Josh Suggs at left back, and Jordan Burt taking up a familiar position at right back, although he has been deployed in midfield most of this season. But he slides back to right back to accommodate Kim. Uriel Macias getting his first minutes of the season, and Velima in midfield. Up front, Toby Uzo leads the line at centre forward, with Shane Malcolm out to the right and Marty Mabin on the left. We know that Uzo and Mabin in particular are going to be anxious to put in a good performance today and get their first goals of the season for the Switchbacks, and the game is underway. Switchbacks have possession, Velima in the middle, slides the ball out to Jordan Burt at right back. Jordan looks to tuck it into Toby, but it rolls harmlessly back to the FC Denver goalkeeper. Beautiful evening this evening, Jason. Perfect weather for soccer.
It's great. Could use a little more breeze into the booth. Ooh, oh!
A little sloppy there on the part of FC Denver. Goalkeeper played it out to their right back. Excuse me, one of their centre backs, but he didn't put his foot on the ball, and now the Switchbacks have a throw on the east side of the field. Josh Suggs with ball in his hands. Great strength by Uzo there. Oh, nice flick back to Suggs. Kim tries to open up the field, connecting with Velima. And the ball finds its way out to the right-hand side. The Switchbacks being patient in these first opening minutes.
And
that was a good look, but I think it was Abuse looking for Josh Suggs out on the left-hand side. Jason, I think that's going to be the pattern of this evening, I think.
we're just going through
fighting with the PA system here, yeah. We're going through every beer known to man. We know that that's a Switchbacks trait, to find those attacking fullbacks with those cross-field balls, and I imagine we're going to see a lot of that tonight. Switchbacks looking to stretch FC Denver as they play the ball deep into the corner and crash the box. FC Denver now with possession in the middle of the field. But the Switchbacks press and win the ball back. Velima now trying to set Uzo off, but no joy. Well, it's opening a few minutes have gone pretty much the way I expected, Jason, with the Switchbacks having the majority of the possession, keeping things neat and tidy, not overstretching themselves, and FC Denver working really hard, trying to close down the space.
Well, there's got to be feeling out time for both teams, where especially FC Denver has to figure out, where exactly their speed of play matches up with a second division team, and size as well. Uzo is a large man, and it looks like they have their center forwards are just about as big as he is, which you don't see very much in the USL. He's typically a giant among men, but they've got some size up there as well, and I think the longer that FC Denver keep this game scoreless, the better it is for them.
Yeah, the challenge you have with Uzo is not just his height, but it's also his girth. I mean, the man is as wide as he is tall. So Macias trying to carry the ball out of midfield there. Nice work from FC Denver, dispossessing him. Josh Suggs with the throw to Kim, to Tambay, and Poati collects the ball in goal under no pressure as the Switchbacks look to feed the ball back out again. Nice patient build-up from the Switchbacks, looking to draw FC Denver out. Marty may have been getting a kick for his troubles there. He dropped back into midfield to try and help maintain possession and keep the ball moving, and a nice handshake there with the FC Denver player. No hard feelings.
Oh, Belinda having a hard time there recovering the ball.
Oh, hello. Boosie getting a little handsy. I think he felt like the FC Denver player was getting a little tight on him, and so raised his hands. Thankfully, nothing too serious, nothing that required referee intervention.
But what you see here is exactly what FC Denver needs, and that's to challenge every ball and jump on any 50-50 ball. Vilima lost control of that, and he was overpowered. And if Denver's going to be able to score, they've got to catch the Switchbacks by surprise.
That actually wasn't too bad of a ball. I thought for a moment it was too long, but that could have dropped onto an FC Denver head or a foot, redirecting the ball back across the goal mouth. Thankfully for the Switchbacks, it was just a yard too long and it went out of play. Switchbacks back in possession in their own defence.
Well, and the hard part for being, though if you can't see it on TV, the south side of the field is directed almost directly into the sun. So on a lacrosse like that, on the previous set play, I imagine Poati would have had a difficult time seeing a ball. Long throw in. Oh, there you go. And that's really...
Yeah, the Switchbacks need to tidy up these mistakes. They're making a couple of little errors, and FC Denver, willing runners, working hard, prepared to close the Switchbacks down and try and make the most of those opportunities. The Switchbacks recover nicely though, and FC Denver are pressed out on the right hand side, but they work the ball really patiently back into the box. It's a shot from number 6, Marco Escobar, deflected back out. But Escobar continues to chase it down. That might be a free kick, no, but it is a throw on FC Denver's throw. I thought for a moment there Kim had perhaps given the ball up for a free kick, but no, it's just the throw. The throw being taken by number 15, Drew Mellon, who is the coach captain of FC Denver. Can play centre back or right back. That's a great throw.
Yeah.
Might go back to him. Oh no, FC Denver player lost his balance unfortunately, and the ball pops out to Vilima again, untidy. I've seen from him earlier this season. I likened him when I was off mic, I'm not sure anyone could hear me, to Luke Vercoloni, and suggested that he was unfortunate to be a very Luke type player and be on the same roster as Luke, because it's hard to get ahead of him and get playing minutes. But all the composure and the tidy touches we've seen from him this season don't appear to be in evidence tonight. The Switchbacks try and break quickly. That's a great ball out to Shane Malcolm on the right hand side from Jordan Burt. Uzo's in the middle. Marty's joining at the back post. The ball comes into Uzo, but it's not the best pass that Shane Malcolm's put in this season. Left Uzo with a lot to do, and unfortunately the ball ricochets away harmlessly and out of play. I was talking about coach captain Drew Mellon there for a moment. As I mentioned, he is the leader of this team. He's been with the organisation for 5 years, one of the longest serving players on this roster. A well respected guy in this organisation. Playing right back this evening. Ball pings around a little bit, Vilima brings it down, and again the ball's coughed up. He really is getting caught in the middle there. FC Denver trying to break, that's a great ball through. Poati's going to need to be on his toes, and he is. Nice work again there from FC Denver. They are growing in confidence, and the Switchbacks need to cut out these unnecessary mistakes. Otherwise, they may end up behind in this game. Vilima keeps it simple this time. Back to Kim. And out to Tambay. Tambay looks to drop in Suggs. That's a nice ball, but just a touch heavy. And the surface is just a little slick. Sprinklers were being run on the field until about 10-15 minutes before kickoff, and so the surface is just a little damp and the ball is carrying as it hits. FC Denver clear from the back. Kim is holding number 17, LaShaw Salter. The referee concurs and gives a free kick to FC Denver. It's central, it's not in a particularly dangerous position. It is in their own half as well. But the Switchbacks are going to need to react to this strongly and clear their lines. Burt does initially, it goes to Velima, comes back to Burt. Shane Malcolm looks to beat his man, but gets his pocket picked. FC Denver breaking down the left-hand side, try to deliver the ball into the box. It gets blocked, I think, by Abusi, and then ricochets off the FC Denver player. West Poati with the goal kick.
That's exactly what Denver needs to be doing, is challenging them on that, because it looks like the Switchbacks are just a little bit slower going than.
They look a little fractured, Jason, in this first 15 minutes. Do you think that's a product of there being so many unfamiliar faces in the starting lineup tonight?
I don't think so, because there is some unfamiliar faces, but a lot of the faces we've seen get minutes this season. Everyone's playing in their typical spot. The only person we haven't seen much of this year has been Uriel Macias. I think that in the feeling out process, I think perhaps we're playing just a little bit too soft, and Denver is definitely and Poati lets it roll out. Denver has definitely felt out the Switchbacks.
They're not playing with any fear, are they? FC Denver
Yeah,
showed up to play.
I think they slowly realized.
I don't sound too condescending, but you know what I mean. I mean, they really showed up to play this game, to get stuck in and try and make the most of the opportunities that come their way or that they create.
And once you get past those first, 5 minutes, and you say, hey, we can hang with these guys.
It's 11 against 11, right?
Yep, it's just a normal game, and while Switchbacks do maintain a bit of possession, they're not getting easy balls, and they're not really doing much on the long ball either.
I'd say, speaking of easy balls, Toby Uzo's had zero service in his first 15, 16 minutes. I think he's had 2 or 3 balls come his way, and all of them have been miracle balls. I'm not quite sure what his teammates are expecting to do with those. A deflection off the heel of Tambe. Drops the ball into number 10 for FC Denver. Cesar Castillo, very dangerous player. This time, though, blasts his shot over the crossbar from about getting over 30 yards. Castillo, of course, scored a hat-trick in the last round against Azteca FC. A young man who has dabbled with pro soccer. St. Louis had a little look at him. Actually, in the preseason, FC Denver went out to St. Louis to play some preseason games and help that USL opposition get warmed up. According to some of the St. Louis fans I spoke to, FC Denver were roundly beaten, but nonetheless it was a good experience for them, and in the process Castillo was able to showcase himself to the St. Louis organisation. Didn't get picked up, clearly, because he's here tonight. Josh Suggs cutting across the box. Nice ball to Marty Mabin. Oh, Marty couldn't quite get hold of that. Nice work though from Toby Uzo and Josh Suggs, in an attempt to link up with Marty Mabin. As I was saying, Castillo, I think, has also had a look in with the Rapids and with Chivas as well, back when they were a thing. Still plying his trade at the amateur level, but certainly a guy with a lot of talent. May even be one that Walding Harris is keeping an eye on tonight.
Yeah, we've seen in the past the Switchbacks in the end of the season not be afraid to call up some of these players from the local lower division ranks. The keeper for Harpo's FC came in 2016. But I don't think any of these FC Denver players are really thinking about their future contract opportunities. So far, I would say, while Switchbacks have had the majority of the possession, I would think that Denver would be quite pleased with how they're playing so far.
Yeah, I'd agree. Suggs plays the ball out to Macias, who's taken up Suggs' typical position on the left wing. Macias rolls the ball back into Mabin. Nice roll from Mabin, but he has nowhere to go. Plays the ball back to Macias. Macias trying to thread the needle to find Uzo. Oh, that's dangerous.
That is dangerous.
So the referee has adjudged a free kick on the edge of the box. To me, it looked like 2 players going for the ball. I'm not sure how much there was in it, but the referee felt like the FC Denver defender got to the ball late and connected with Macias in the process. And that now leads to a Switchbacks free kick on the edge of the box, as I mentioned earlier. Now, this isn't really prime position for Josh Suggs, being a lefty, unless he's looking to drop the ball into the box. I'm surprised not to see Jordan Burke come across. I thought maybe he'd want to have a crack with this with his left foot. Valima, though, is loitering and could be a good candidate for this. So right now we have Shane Malcolm, Josh Suggs and Valima all huddled around the ball. Now spreading out. The referee has organised the wall. Let's see who strikes this and what comes of it. Malcolm steps over. Valima. Oh! Just around the post! So Shane Malcolm jumped the ball, ran to the wall to try and create a blind spot, which Valima exploited. Nice bend on the ball, but not sufficiently enough to carry it into the back post. And the shot harmlessly wide.
And just for those listening now, we don't have the ability to do an instant replay. I could not find a way to get it done in a timely manner, so you just got to take our word for it. That was an excellent ball.
It was a 60-yard bicycle kick for those who don't have access to it. Oh my goodness! So Castillo chasing down Abusi.
And there they are, where that little bit of hustle creates a scoring chance and almost a...
So Castillo chasing down Abusi. Poati came out to try and clear the danger, but the resultant rebound caused some panic in the heart of the Switchbacks defence. Castillo chased the ball out to the far side, thought maybe he could retrieve it and get a shot on goal, wasn't able to do so, but FC Denver do have a corner. Great delivery. Nice work from Poati, nice strong hands, and he gets a call from the referee. FC Denver have got to be feeling good about this, Jason, this first 20 minutes or so, because the Switchbacks are looking awfully nervy.
Yeah. And I'm not sure why, to be honest with you. It might be in the fact that right off the bat, they were sure they're willing to be physical, maybe to the surprise of the Switchbacks. And
so I don't like what I'm seeing here on the left, Jason. It looks like Uriel Macias is pulling all the way up to the left-hand side, which is really choking the channel for Josh Suggs. Josh Suggs is having to tuck inside. Now Macias has slid back in, but he looks like he's drifting out to the left again. Maybe that's something he's been told to do by the coach, but I think that's going to make it difficult for Suggs to get beyond him. And I fancy Suggs in that more advanced position on the left-hand side. So we'll keep an eye on that and see how that develops. Gosh,
another
again,
unforced error. That is.
And FC Denver fans are loving this. Tambay tries to roll the ball across to Abusi. Ball goes out of play, and we hear a cheer, an ironic cheer from the FC Denver fans. Game still 0-0 after 22 minutes. I'm so happy I get to say 0-0.
I was going to say, that has been a glorious moment for you. 0-0 for you Americans out there.
Naught, or nothing, none of that nonsense. 0-0.
Zilch.
Well, someone's put a quarter in the meter. We now have floodlights here at Weidner Field, aka Fortress Sand Creek. Still pretty bright out here, but I'm imagining somebody's anticipating the sun heading down and visibility deteriorating, and so floodlights are already on.
Love those floodlights.
Nice touch from Uzo to Malcolm. Tries to find Suggs on the far left, but again a little heavy, and Suggs is going to make that.
He's just not fast enough.
What a nice touch by Uzo, direct from the throw-in. A back heel into Malcolm's path.
Oh, that is not good. That is not good at all. And there's...
I have no idea what's in the water tonight, but the Switchbacks players look nervier. Just waiting for the ball to come back in here. Okay, yep, the referee has called a stop to play. Yep, the Switchbacks look nervier here than turkeys at Thanksgiving. A ball from Tambay there, heavily hit back pass. Drifted over Poati and led to him scrambling back, and he may have injured himself in the process. Just unnecessary, another unforced error that FC Denver could have capitalised on. Thankfully for the Switchbacks, did not, although Poati may have been injured in the process. Of course, we have Stuart Sayos on the bench. Excellent goalkeeper in his own right. Kept a clean sheet against Las Vegas Lights in the last USL game. But the Switchbacks just need to settle it down, Jason. You know what they need? What they need right now is Lever Coloni. They need a calming influence.
Yeah,
they need someone to say, guys, just settle it down. Take the extra touch. Keep it simple. Give and go. Stop trying to overplay.
And while we definitely don't want Poati to be injured, I think this was a perfect opportunity for him to lay down, clutch the knee, and maybe take a moment so the team can get together and say, hey, we're letting them get to us. And I'm still baffled by that back pass. Very, very fortunate that did not go in. That was I speechless.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, to give credit to SC Denver, they're playing hard. They're pressing the Switchbacks high. They're 100% in this game. But many of the errors that we're seeing from the Switchbacks, they're not forced errors, as Jason's mentioned a couple of times. They're unforced errors. That was one such example. Yes, Tambay had a man on his back, but he had all kinds of options, one of which was just to side foot the ball back to Poati. Quite why he felt the need to belt it. Poati now back on his feet. Looks to be okay. Jason may have been right. That may have been gamesmanship to some degree. Give the team an opportunity to regroup and just have a conversation about what it is they need to do to settle themselves down. Guys, I want to remind you that Backchat is on Facebook and also Twitter. You can search for us on Facebook under Backchat Show, or our Twitter handle is @BackchatShow, and you're welcome to post any comments on the commentary or the broadcast or the match in general, and we'll try and check those periodically through the game. I think the guy I'm feeling most sorry for right now is Toby Uzo, because he hasn't done much wrong, but he hasn't seen hardly any of the ball, and certainly not much in the way of quality service.
Yeah.
Great chest from him there, though. Finds Shane Malcolm. Now Martin Mabin. Oh, good tackle. Now Shane Malcolm back on the ball, though. Wasn't cleared by FC Denver. Tries to drill it into the middle.
Oh.
Nice touch back. Very composed defending from FC Denver. And the ball is gathered up without too much issue by goalkeeper Michael Moberg. Great ball out to Castillo. Poati collects.
Again, looking very, very unsure.
Now Tambay looked like he was...
He may have taken a...
Well, yeah, he looked like he was... I don't know, it was maybe kind of a weird step towards Castillo, as though he was annoyed at something he'd done. Maybe Castillo
I think there
caught
might...
him with his cleats. And Tambay making up for it there, though. Castillo collects the ball, Tambay steps in, dispossesses him. But again, the Switchbacks turn the ball over. Nice work from Suggs, though, tidying up at the back. Josh Suggs isn't much of a baller and a screamer as far as captains go, but I kind of like to see him get this game by the scruff of the neck and tell his teammates what's what, because we need some leadership out here.
That was a great stop there. If that ball had gone through.
That was. Good interception. Toby Uzo again finds the ball back to Velima. Velima looks for a crossfield pass, but like Jason mentioned earlier, he's getting choked out, but he came out with the ball now. Velima strikes.
Oh, what a save!
Nice save by Moberg. Now Velima didn't seem to have much on there. He had 3 FC Denver players around him. He hesitated on the ball. He was looking for a crossfield pass. That got snapped out. In the process of scrapping to win the ball back, it popped out for him, facing the goal. He got all of it. Nice strike, but Moberg was equal to it. And a good diving save, and now he's taking a knee.
Perhaps his shoes untied, and he needed.
Oh, okay.
His teammate
Look at that. That's amateur soccer for you. I love that. I love that.
I can't. Well, and you think about it, he's got keeper gloves on. You can't tie your shoes with keeper gloves on. You take the gloves off, you can't hold the ball. Not logically. There we go.
That's goalkeeper's corner.
That's goalkeeper's corner.
Next
Yeah,
week
that's. If you need me, I'll be go seeing if they have dollar beer still. I'll be back in 20 minutes.
I mentioned that Uzo's not getting much in the way of quality service, and his touches tend to be one touch because he's not really giving time to settle on the ball. He's been marshalled pretty well by a central defensive partnership of, I think it's Alec Bernhardt and certainly Joel Miller, number 12. Oh, good interception there from Jordan Burt. We'll come back to FC Denver here in a moment.
But immediately gives it back.
He does, and Shea Malcolm then tidies up for him and lays it back to Jordan Burt, who's now in the FC Denver half. Oh, again, poor service, neither to Uzo nor to Mabin. Wally Harris, as primarily an offensive coach, must be very frustrated with the Switchbacks offensive output so far this evening.
Oh, I imagine.
Again, FC
And
Denver
that's
breaking
not
down the left
good.
now. It's to stop the ball in. Oh! Points Poati beaten.
Oh!
And I'm sorry, my apologies. The FC Denver player had his back to us. He's on the far left-hand side. I couldn't see who that was. It may have been number 11.
I believe it was 11. Yeah, that would have.
Fernando Magallanes found space down the left-hand side. I think it was Castillo that slotted the ball into him. Took a touch, squared himself up to the goal. Had Poati beaten all ends up. It looked like it was going to nestle into the corner of the goal, hit the post, and the Switchbacks are saved. Jason, I don't think I'm going out on a limb here to suggest that FC Denver have had the best of this half so far.
Absolutely. If I'm Wally Harris, I've got to be a little bit nervous about the really just. I don't want to say we look unprepared, but we definitely look almost overmatched by a team that's several levels beneath where we are.
Well, I know we just saw a great save from Moberg, but the best save of the game has fallen to FC Denver. And if I'm Wally Harris, I'm incensed, quite frankly, by this first half performance. We're half an hour in the Switchbacks really need to get their act together. FC Denver.
Well, I think so far
the
save of the match has been the goalpost on the south side.
Absolutely. We're looking for that crossfield ball again, trying to find Josh Suggs. That is a beautiful pass. Suggs with the last touch. Oh!
Give and go did not.
No, he and Macias not on the same wavelength there.
Yeah. The give and go was gone and went.
But you know what, Jason? To some degree, this match is kind of a microcosm of the Switchback season so far. We have struggled to connect things in the final third. Our build-up play has been decent. We created enough chances, but that final pass, that final connection in the box, it just hasn't been there all season long.
Yeah, it's if they were hoping to find the magic elixir with this lineup, I don't think they have.
Tom Bay with the big clearance. Uzo looks over his shoulder at him as if to say, no.
Yeah. Another thing I'm not seeing much of is a lot of speed on our offensive front. There's not. Well, we know Shane Malcolm has some wheels on him when he wants to, but I really haven't seen him get out.
So I was talking earlier about the central defensive partnership of Bernhardt and Miller. Miller, number 12, has actually, I think he's the longest serving player in the team, 8 or 9 years with FC Denver, and arguably the best player that the club has ever had. The club was founded in 2006, so Miller has been here for pretty much that entire time. And according to Eric Fulton, club president, again, Miller is regarded as generally being the best guy ever to don the green for FC Denver. A guy who many have suggested could have made that step up, certainly to PDL, but perhaps even to pro. FC Denver again hustling down the left-hand side, working hard to try and
suddenly we are
snip the ball away from the Switchbacks, but the Switchbacks are on the break. Marty Mabin through the centre of midfield, looking around for options, and he has a few. Great work though.
That was.
Well, okay. FC Denver fans aren't happy with that call, and I'm saying I can feel some sympathy for them. Peter Jacobson, number 9, worked his behind off to get back there and try and dispossess Marty Mabin. Did so, and in the process, according to tonight's official, gave up a free kick.
And that's
Switchbacks are 30 yards from goal with a dead ball situation.
Second time Marty Mabin has lost his shin guard in play.
And it's these kind of stats that you guys tune in to listen to the back chat show.
Yes, that is.
Those insights.
Mabin shin guards 0.
So now we have Josh Suggs with the ball on the right-hand side of the goal. This certainly would be within his range. Velima is there again. We already saw what he can do for a free kick. So it could be a Velima right foot whip. It could be a Josh Suggs left foot bender. Let's see where we go with this. The referee is satisfied the wall is in place. No, now he's gone back to the wall. He's talking with Joel Miller. Not happy with something.
Wait, all shin guards. Marty Navin collecting another shin piece.
So it's going to be Suggs. It is Suggs!
Oh!
Over the crossbar. Yeah, that never truly looked like threatening the goalkeeper. A little too high, not really hard enough. I think even had it dropped, Moberg probably would have had it covered. Anyway, for the last 10 minutes, I've been trying to tell you about Joel Miller. He's actually in his 30s now, and one of the older guys on the roster this evening, but still very well regarded within the organisation. Oh, good collection from Velima. Tries to thread the ball through for Uzo.
Uzo is just not getting any service at all.
He's not. Anyway, to cap off my comments regarding Miller, because it sounds like I'm obsessed with him at this point, I was very excited to see the battle between him and Uzo tonight. It looks like Bernhardt's actually picking up most of the Uzo duties tonight. Excuse me, it's not. I've been calling him Bernhardt. My apologies, it's not 14, it's 4. That's Nabil Odolate picking up Toby Uzo. Either way, they've kept him quiet.
Well, Velima really earned that foul.
There.
Yeah, he took a couple shots, escaped, and didn't escape the third one. And that's a yellow card on what is that number?
An FC Denver player.
Yes.
It might be Castillo.
No, I believe it's number 8.
Okay. So that would be Kyle Kraus.
Yeah, and it looked like he was not happy with the call, and neither was. It appears that the majority of the fans.
A yellow card issued an FC Denver player, Marco Escobar.
Oh, okay.
Marco Escobar picking up that yellow card, probably for dissent.
Number 6. We need to check your prescription, Jason.
Yeah. 6s and 8s kind of look alike.
Velima delivers from the right-hand side. Deep
there
into the box.
Oh, just a bit too far.
Mabin or Macias coming in the back post. I think maybe it was Macias, trying to connect.
I've been waiting my entire life to say this, but that was just a bit wide.
Yeah, very, very deep as well. It would have taken something from Macias to redirect that back on goal. So still Velima's shot. The best effort that the Switchbacks have been able to muster so far this half. Nice flick. Castillo chasing through, but nicely collected by Tambay.
No, it looks like he was offside. Lauren Parliament.
Okay. Well, Tambay did play the ball out, but as Jason mentioned, offside call in the Switchbacks' favour. Tambay looking for Uzo. Nice flick off the head of Odolate. Marshalling Uzo well again there. Miller doing a nice job in the centre of the FC Denver defence.
So it looks like Velima's going to take this corner kick.
Yeah, Suggs has typically taken corner kicks from both sides all season long. So let's see what Velima has. Trying to see where Suggs is. I think he's positioned himself. Yeah, he is. He's just outside the box, about 10 yards outside the box. Looking to pick up scraps. Should the ball find its way out? Delivered by Velima to the back post. Oh, nice header over the bar though. That was maybe Shane Malcolm. Jason, Shane Malcolm continues to defy knee and gravity.
Yeah, he is.
He gets up for those corners more often than not, and it's astonishing. He's one of the smallest guys in the field, but has a vertical.
Yeah. You know what? While we have had 2 significant scoreless streaks this season, one of 370, I believe, and the last one was 400 minutes. The goals we have been able to score have been all off set pieces. Very few during the run of play. So, if there's one place that you think that we would be able to dominate,
Malcolm,
it's in those set pieces.
Uzo trying to take an Odolate, but he does a nice job. Well, he does a nice job at least of intercepting the ball for Uzo, but in the process creates a rather scary moment for goalkeeper Moberg, diving full length to try and get something on the ball, and just palming outside of the post to create a Switchbacks corner. Switchbacks subs warming up on the far hand side, Jason. Probably just, standard protocol, but who knows?
They're
Maybe
starting
we'll
the
see an
wave.
early sub.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be starting them early. Almost 40 minutes into the game. Corner being delivered by Weidner again.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic strike from Josh Suggs. And that's what I was talking about from the previous corner. Edge of the box, waiting to pick up scraps. That ball pinged out to him. A left foot, first time volley. Saved from a deflection from an FC Denver defender. Otherwise, I think that was goal bound. Really sweetly struck by Josh Suggs.
Absolutely.
Weidner makes his way all the way to the other side of the field to take a corner now here from the west corner, the northwest corner. Keeping an eye on where Suggs is now on the edge of the box. And that was a great corner by Weidner, but none of the Switchbacks players were able to make hay. In fact, in the process, fouled an FC Denver defender, giving the ball back to the team in green.
And get a nice Bronx cheer from the FC Denver crowd here.
It's interesting, FC Denver are the away team, yet they're playing in their home jerseys. Switchbacks home team playing in their away jerseys. I think it's the first time we've seen those away jerseys here at Fortress Sand Creek. And I actually really like those away jerseys. I actually favour them over the home jerseys, and I'm waiting for them to become available for purchase. Hint, hint, Rachel Reagan.
Yeah. And if you're giving him a free jersey for pimping that out, I'm gonna want one too.
Jason's a size small, give him one too if you would, please. Nice collection from FC Denver. Great ball over the top, but Puati is on his toes, and he needed to be. The ball's fallen. Back to number 17. Good deflection out by Josh Suggs. It's still in the mix. So Switchbacks are even on their toes, and they're not. They watched it go in. I think it's number 11, I believe, Fernando Magallanes. Jason, that was a comedy of errors by the Switchbacks.
And that's what we've been saying this whole game, is that there seem to be the lack of urgency, the lack of their composure. There's a serious lack of composure
And desire to win that ball first time, Jason.
Yeah,
You should just watch. We were just pausing there to get confirmation of the PA that it was Magianis who scored. I've heard 3 separate pronunciations of his name now, so I do apologise to his family who may be listening. I'm sure at least one of them is right. Nonetheless, you should take heart in the fact that your boys scored the opening goal for FC Denver over the Colorado Switchbacks. Let's just talk through that passage of play again. A nice ball over the top again from FC Denver. Hesitation in the Switchbacks defence. Puati on his toes comes out to try and intercept. Does so. The ball deflects off of an FC Denver attacker. Pops up into the middle of the defence. Should have been cleared there. Wasn't. FC Denver retrieved the ball. Drop the ball into the back post where there are 3 Switchbacks defenders, Jason.
just watching.
Magallanes, the only FC Denver player in the midst.
That was a dangerous ball right there.
Dangerous ball in from the right from FC Denver, but Puati tidies up. Magallanes, the only FC Denver player in the mix. He rises highest. I want to say, I need to see the replay, but I want to say he was the only one who got off the ground to head the ball over the line, pretty much unchallenged.
Yeah.
What would Steve Tritchu say?
Probably a profane word. And while we are an unsanctioned feed, I don't want to risk.
We have a Switchbacks player down in the southwest corner. I think it might be Tambe. Holding his knee, which is never a good sign. And he's been down now for a good 30 seconds or so.
He was the one challenging on that cross from. So, if you're the Switchbacks right now, what do you do? Do you keep playing in do you just stick with the plan? Do we go into chuck and duck mode, where it's just get the ball and try to beat the defenders one-on-one? Do you think this lights a fire, or do you think this is more deflating than anything else?
Well, a couple of things I'll say. One, the goal came at the perfect time for FC Denver, right before half-time. We estimate there's maybe 2, 3, 4 minutes left. I'm sure there might be an extra minute or so here due to this injury, but perfect timing for FC Denver. If I'm the Switchbacks, I don't panic right now. I get in at half-time, I regroup. I hear what Coach Wally Harris has to say. And then I recognised that we were expecting to score a goal tonight. We needed to score a goal tonight. In order to win this game, we needed to score a goal tonight. That hasn't changed. We still need to score a goal tonight. Just so happens we need to score more than one now, but the aim of the game is still to put the ball in the back of the net, and the Switchbacks need to come out. If they can't do it before half-time, need to come out early in the second half and see if they can get FC Denver on the back foot and notch that goal. So it looks like Townbay is back up on his feet and walking a little gingerly, actually holding the inside of his left thigh. Returns to play, good to see that. And play resumes. But yeah, Jason, that's what I would do. I wouldn't panic, wait to get in at half-time and recognise that obviously this team is more than capable of scoring and still needs to.
Well, and one of the great things about the Open Cup is that there will be no ties tonight. So not only do the Switchbacks need to get another goal, they need another goal on top of that. And the last thing you want to do is go into a penalty shootout situation, because that's just, and again, FC Denver just seems to have all the energy, all the composure.
And it's breaking through on the left-hand side, taking advantage of another Switchbacks error. Ball's played into the middle, across the field. Oh, great!
That could have been dangerous.
Boati. Yeah, good safe hands there, because loitering at the back post for FC Denver was, young man, you need to turn around so I can see your number. Thank you. Number 14, Alex Bernhardt, who I are playing in centre of defence for the first 25 minutes of the game. Sorry, Mr. Bernhardt. Nice touch from Alex Bernhardt there. Didn't quite get the ball under control, but he's hustling, trying to win it back. Josh Suggs tidies up. Glad to see Townbay back in the field, and while we're talking about guys with knocks and injuries, want to mention to any of the Switchbacks fans who are listening, who perhaps heard about the unfortunate injury to starting FC Denver centre-back Kyle Heppenstall, who took an elbow to the head in the last round against Azteca FC. It's actually taken to hospital. Speaking with Eric Fulton, he said that Kyle is fully recovered and at least recovered enough where he's no longer in danger and up and about, and sadly not fit enough to take to the field tonight, but should find his way back onto the FC Denver roster here in no time, so glad to hear that. And I'm seeing here in these last few minutes, Jason, the tide has turned. It's FC Denver who are now handling the ball, who are controlling the play, and it's the Switchbacks who are hustling and harrying to try and get the ball back.
And Marty Maben there, he's almost Incredible Hulk there, just bouncing players off of him, refusing to yield until the ref decided to go ahead and call one of those fouls.
Marty's looking a little stocky this season. It's like he's been hitting the gym in the off-season.
He's big muscular. Yeah. At least he plays that way.
To any of the FC Denver fans, excuse me, who are listening or watching the feed, you maybe have to hear your fellow FC Denver fans cheering and blowing vuvuzelas and ringing cowbells. I have to give props to those guys. They are creating a great atmosphere here tonight in what is a small crowd. Switchbacks have a free kick about 40-45 yards out. Years out, yeah. Lima and Suggs stood over it, but Lima swings his right foot at it. Not a bad effort, but always over the crossbar. 45 years, Jason. I think maybe that's what the first half has felt like to me.
Yeah, that's
Freudian slip.
I think there. if we had a time machine to get 45 years, we would restart this game, this season.
We said, Jason, before a ball was kicked, we do hope this won't be another FC Tucson game from last season. We had a wretched first half. Actually, that first half ended 0-0. The Switchbacks ended the game as a contest within the first 10 minutes of the second half, scoring 2 goals in quick succession. The Switchbacks find themselves in a deeper hole this time around, being a goal down. Surely this team have the ability, they have the talent to register those goals early in the second half that turn this game on its head, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. I think we just need to bring some urgency and some patience and some, the thing I've noticed is that FC Denver really does not seem to be overwhelmed by the moment. They came out and obviously Uso, who's a monster of a man, the backs don't seem intimidated by him. He's not being too physical with them, and they're not intimidated at all. And as this game has gone on, FC Denver has more than earned their goal lead against us, against the Switchbacks. Oh,
is that a safety palm from
I
Poati?
would think that was the safety dance from Poati on there. He was not sure where that ball was going. It looked like a knucklebar.
He's not happy though. You can see him gesticulating to his defenders and being pretty vocal. I don't blame him.
Yeah.
FC Denver taking a corner from the southeast corner of the field. Oh, driven ball into the box. Again, tries to make the most of it with an overhead kick.
Ooh.
Nervous moments for the Switchbacks before Velima finally clears into FC Denver's half. Ball's brought down well by Miller, who feeds it back out to the right to Escobar. Escobar looks to drill the ball into the middle, doesn't find a man, and the Switchbacks work it back out. See, Macias is out on this far left again. I know I've mentioned it earlier, and I don't want to harp on about it, but I'm not really seeing him being effective out there. I'd rather see him tucked inside, providing a little additional protection for Lima so that we're not getting the ball turned over so easily through the centre of the park. Give Josh Suggs the channel as they are now. Macias has tucked inside, Suggs made a run, but was utterly ignored. Ball went out right and ran long, as it has most of this first half. Wanted to just remind our listeners and viewers, the Backchat Show is on Facebook and Twitter at Backchat Show. Go ahead and post your comments so we can take a look at those at half time.
Your hate mail, your memes of us. I didn't know if it was lost there. The referees, the fourth official, is giving us 2 minutes of stoppage time, and which kind of surprises me. But if I'm the Switchbacks, I would be just glad for that whistle to go back and regroup at halftime.
I just saw on Twitter, Jason, that FC Tucson are getting ready to kick off their Open Cup game.
No.
I'm not sure who they're playing tonight, but good luck to FC Tucson.
They were the what was their nickname? The Men in Black?
Yes.
Yes.
Great work from Uso, battering around, forcing his way through. Can he find Shane Malcolm? Yes, he does. He put it behind Malcolm, though. He's making it work a little harder than he ought to. Malcolm has to feed the ball back out to Velima. Oh, my heavens.
And they give and go.
And it goes long once more. You know, Uzo worked so hard to carry that ball a good 10-15 yards and create the opportunity, but then ended up playing the ball behind Malcolm. Malcolm found Velima, and then Velima played the ball too far in front of Malcolm. Everything just seems off kilter right now. The Switchbacks need to really calibrate what they're doing and get on the same wavelength. They certainly haven't been for most of this first 45 minutes.
And the referee mercifully ending that first half, and well, this may be the bad time to bring this up, but how many seasons did we go before we came from behind for a victory? It was the last game of last year.
It was.
This is not something that the Switchbacks characteristically have been able to do, is come from behind. I mean, if well, I guess we'll see from this point whether or not Coach Harris, if he's going to look at this as, okay, time to tinker, time to get some practice rep in and make this a glorified scrimmage, or if he's going to
Listen to those FC Denver fans.
yeah,
Jason.
they travel well, and then that's one of the bad things about, not the bad things, one of the disadvantages about playing here in a.
Sorry, Jason.
Oh, that's okay. I believe you're calling down your halftime interview.
Yeah.
Well, I will yield the microphone.
Hey, how's it going, Eric?
Great, buddy. How are you?
Hey, good to see you, my
Good
friend.
to
I'm
see
going to
you.
give you a hug. It's been too long.
Yeah, it's been.
You guys got more equipment than I do. It's not even
What's
fair.
like? Who's
Go to Eric. There we go. Thanks, Jason. Appreciate that. So we are delighted to be joined for a few minutes here at halftime by Eric Fulton, President of FC Denver. Hey, Eric.
Hey, thanks for having me up here.
Hey, no worries. Thanks for joining us. So you have to be happy with your boys' first half efforts.
Yeah, just a little bit. My heart's racing. This is really fun for us, and obviously to get the goal, be up 1-1 at halftime. It's a dream first half for us.
What did you see of the goal? We were commentating on what it looked like to be a comedy of errors from the Switchbacks, being unable to clear their own box. What did you see from your side of the field?
Yeah, we've been able to make some good balls in. Put the back line and the goalkeeper under pressure a little bit. It looked like mostly, the goalkeeper, probably could have handled that situation a little bit better. And then, we just capitalized on the opportunity that was given to us. The player that scored, Fernando Magallanes, he doesn't win headers. So that was his first header I think he's ever won, and one of our biggest goals we've ever had. So, it's not that hard when you're 2 or 3 yards out, but we were happy to see that happen and see that go in. Yeah,
it was interesting to see the reaction because everybody seemed to freeze there for a moment. We were commenting on the fact that none of the Switchbacks defenders seemed to even jump for the ball. He seemed to look at it and go, well, okay, if you're not going to. And then went over the line, and there was a pause there for a moment. I guess it was disbelief on his part.
Yeah, I think, the Switchbacks guys are bigger than us. We're not even that big of an amateur team to start with. So to see there was 3 guys around Fernando down there, and it seemed pretty straightforward that they were going to be able to clear that ball out. So to see him out-jump them and just knock it in was a bit surreal. So
we talked right before halftime about one of the players that's missing tonight, Kyle Hebenstall. Mentioned that you and I had spoken before the game, and you mentioned that Kyle is fine. He's out of hospital, obviously not fit enough to take part in today's game. Anything else you want to say about Kyle and his absence?
We obviously wish he was here. He's a big part of our team, and just the most wonderful, sweetest guy out there. But he's a big athletic guy, and for a team that doesn't have tons of big defenders or anything like that, it's sort of miss him. But the biggest thing is that he's healthy. When you saw that last week, I just remember finishing up that game last week, feeling how surreal that moment was for us. Just when your player's hurting, until you know that he's better, even winning one of your biggest matches ever, it cast a shadow over it a bit. So once we found out later that night that he was being released, we were able to enjoy our celebratory beverages last week all the more.
Oh, very good, very good. Now you and I go way back, Eric. Obviously the FC Denver team, though they don't look like an amateur outfit this evening, are an amateur team. I founded an amateur men's team back in 2002. I remember you and I having conversations in advance of you founding FC Denver in 2006. Our team very much remained amateur, a glorified pub team. You've certainly taken this organisation to another level. Talk to, if you would, to our listeners a little bit about that process. What inspired you to take what was a one-team outfit and take it and make it a 4-team outfit and have it play at this kind of a level? What was the driving inspiration for that?
Well, I think with all things, it's got to come from inside. You've got to have that desire and that want, and that's something that from the beginning I created that, and then now we have a whole cast of leadership and long-term guys on our board of directors, and obviously our players out there that have that drive. So it's been neat to be able to create the structure for players to be able to just excel, and then at some point it becomes a bit of a tipping point, and then players want to come and be involved with that. They see that level of commitment. They see that, especially after college, that so many times guys have come up to me and been like, I never thought I'd be playing a game like this, and getting jitters in pregame after their last college games were over. So it's neat to be able to do that, and it's neat to be able to be here tonight.
Well, you created something really awesome. I mean, it's been fun to watch you from afar and see the organisation grow, and certainly the boys have acquitted themselves really well tonight. So if you win tonight, then next thing for FC Denver is a PDL outfit, right? You're going to go PDL.
Well, it's always money. It's always money. We obviously have a lot of organization for an amateur team, and we're fortunate to play in a great league and play in a state that has a lot of competition that lets us, be sharp. And we love to keep taking this, to whatever level we can, but it all depends on the money you have involved and the people you have to lead something like that forward. So
let's get back to the game. Second half, what are you expecting from FC Denver? What are you expecting from the Switchbacks?
This is why the professionals are the professionals. The 45 minutes is going to be it's going to be a lot tougher for us in the first 45. as an amateur, you can obviously have legs for 45 minutes or 60 minutes, but then after that, it's really going to pull a lot out of you. And in our league matches, we can have full substitution range. And we've been preparing for this, and we're ready. And but it's still going to be hard because the Switchbacks are still going to be going as hard as they can, 70th, 80th minute, and they don't want to leave the stadium and these fans with a loss here today to an amateur team, obviously. So there's going to be a lot to prove, and we're going to have to dig deep. And there's going to be some close moments, and we'll see what happens. But I expect a lot of pressure, and and hopefully we don't sit too deep. It's just kind of human behavior to know you're up and play to that game state. So hopefully we can go out there and try to get another goal and then really try to shake things up.
Well, you mentioned the supporters that are here tonight. They are the most vocal I think we've had at Fortress Sand Creek in quite some time, including their rallying behind a team they love. And again, you've done a great job of putting that team together, Eric. So congratulations on everything that you and FC Denver have done. I wish you a great second half. Can't wish you the victory, my friend.
I know, of course. No, I wouldn't expect that.
But I wish you a good second half and a good game, and hope it's an excellent second 45 minutes. Thanks for joining us, Eric.
Awesome, and thanks for having me, Mark. Great job here. We really appreciate what you guys are doing, and I'd like to thank the fans near and far that are following us here tonight.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks, Eric. Cheers, man.
Thank you.
Enjoy the second half. All right, take care.
How are things?
Good, man. How are you?
Hanging in there?
Yeah?
Yeah. And I'll get to some of these pictures when I'm done.
Do you enjoy the first 45 minutes?
Yeah?
Yeah? You were the one then.
A lot more pressure than I anticipated. Well,
Yeah.
So FC Denver is part of the CPL, as you know,
Yes,
right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
then also under USSSA, and I work for USSSA.
Yeah.
I'm the national director. So
I didn't know
these
you moved
guys
up.
doing well, yeah.
Good grief.
So these guys doing well is a reflection on everything that I've been building for years. So I'm super excited.
Yeah, you should be. They're playing their hearts out. They're playing really well.
Yeah.
It's hard not to comment on them when they're an amateur team playing a professional team and not sound condescending. Oh, they're working so hard, they're getting stuck. But I would say that about any team,
But
the
they've
way they're
had good
playing.
shape
Yeah,
and good form
absolutely.
and good pressure, and they've had good touches, and they've gotten forward as a team with
Yeah.
numbers. And the Switchbacks have made some mistakes,
They have.
some silly mistakes.
They have, yeah.
And any good team is going to punish you for that. So then the question is going to become what happens in this half. I think what's going to happen is they're going to make 3 subs of difference makers, and it's going to completely change the midfield.
They have a very experienced bench. Yeah, they didn't leave anything
Yeah.
to chance.
Yeah.
I mean, when you can bring on guys like, Luke Coloni and AJ Jakwa and Syed Robinson. Syed Robinson's speed alone will give defenders fits. So and you would
that's
think as well
exactly what's
that the
gonna
professional fitness as well should come into play as the game wears on. So we'll see.
Yeah, the
we'll
70th
see.
minute.
We'll see. But certainly,
Yeah.
great first 45 for FC Denver.
Oh, I think so. Yeah. And Switchbacks got forward and had a few chances and a couple good corner kicks, and that the free kick play that was beautiful, right? They get one toe on that, it's a goal like 90% of the time.
Yeah. And Josh Suggs had a nice strike as well, a nice volley.
Yeah,
Left
that
foot
was a
volley,
great
but-
volley. Yeah. But blocked. So
But still, FC Denver could be 2-0 up. Let's be honest.
because of that,
Yeah.
because
I want to hit the post.
just a couple of silly mistakes, and that guy Fernando, he should never have been able to get off that
Yeah.
shot.
No.
They just laid off of him.
All right, man.
We'll
Gotta
see.
get back to our halftime. Hey, it's good talking to you.
Good talking
You
to
take
you.
care. See you soon.
So, for those listening, we don't have any beer commercials to play, or we have no hot tubs to sell you, or any of that. So, great interview there with the president of FC Denver. Who did you speak to? Because they
So, obviously, talked with Eric Fulton, and it was a tale of 2 Erics. That was Eric French that you heard in that rather informal conversation. That wasn't an interview per se, but Eric French used to run the league that FC Denver are now playing, and evidently he's gotten promoted. Not exactly sure what he's doing now, but it sounds like he's doing something more on a regional or even a national platform. And so he's here, obviously supporting FC Denver. As he mentioned, the structures that he has helped create and foster over the last few years are what FC Denver are now enjoying and the league that they're playing in. So I can tell that Eric French is very proud of FC Denver and what they're doing, and Eric Fulton needs to be very proud of his organisation.
Absolutely.
I think, after that first half performance.
And for those of you just tuning in and expecting to see the Switchbacks having this game in hand, it has been the exact opposite. Fair play to FC Denver. They could legitimately be up 3-0 right now. There's several opportunities they had, and had it not been for the stoic effort of the goalpost, this game could be rapidly out of hand.
Yeah, the goalpost. We should have really gotten a clue, Jason, when we saw that the goalposts were wearing the same colours as the Switchbacks uniforms.
Yeah, that's true. It's we got an unfair advantage.
Actually, speaking of uniforms, I was mentioning earlier that FC Denver are in their home green, that they're playing away, and the Switchbacks in their away white, playing at home. I should mention that FC Denver signed a kind of exciting, I guess, jersey agreement with Hummel this past season. Yeah, so actually they're kitted out by Hummel, home and away. They have obviously their green shirts, typically their home shirts, and then they have a white uniform for their away games. But they are the most professional amateur team, I think, in Colorado.
Yeah.
These guys, Harpo's, Barry Guadalajara, these guys, they look professional in many different ways, and just not by pay packet.
Yeah, it looks like.
Let's see if there's any changes.
Yeah, well.
We have a substitution on the pitch. Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC player Saeed Robinson is coming on for JJ.
Here comes the speed.
Yep.
This substitution is brought to you by the Ronald McDonald House Charities of Southern Colorado.
So that's an interesting change. Saeed Robinson has come on. We know his speed can be a real factor in the game. Interestingly, though, Tambe has been taken out. So maybe the injury from first half was worse than originally thought, or maybe this is a purely strategic change by Coach Wally Harris. Maybe he'll look to go to 3 at the back. And more likely, I think Macias has played central offence before, so perhaps Macias is going to drop into centre defence alongside Abusi, with Saeed Robinson moving into midfield. We'll see. We'll see how they shape up here. No point me speculating. We're going to know here in just a few moments. So yeah, Saeed Robinson is coming out to the right. Marty Maven is still on the left. Looks like maybe Shane Malcolm has dropped into midfield with Valeri and Kim. Well, actually, no, you know what? It looks like Kim may have dropped into centre back.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Kim alongside Abusi. We've never seen that before, Jason.
Well,
we know Kim is famous for giving away yellow cards.
yeah,
so he doesn't do so in his own box.
He can't be accumulated out.
He's certainly a tenacious, aggressive little player, though, who won't let anything go easily. But that means that we have Valima, probably Shane Malcolm, and Macias in midfield.
And immediately give a ball away. That's I was.
And immediately win it back. Good job, Valeri. Valima shouldn't have to be running so hard to chase back an enforced error, but nonetheless did the work and won the ball back.
You know, and if we did have a man of the half, the first half,
it's a flick on through, but it's not.
It would have been Valima. He was very consistent and involved in the few scoring opportunities that we had. He's definitely out there working hard. Easy save there. And again,
hesitation from the Switchbacks.
Yeah, FC Denver seems to have found that magic spot to put the ball where the defenses that our backs are uncomfortable with, and
great
Pilates.
collection by Uzun. Sorry, Jason.
No, it's okay.
But I love seeing that. 3 defenders around him, and he steps in and collects it so effortlessly. And here goes Saeed Robinson. First time we've seen him have a chance to kind of open up and turn on the afterburners. Instead, he plays the ball cross field to the left-hand side, where Suggs finds Malcolm. And now Malcolm gets a little bit of a stretch on. Tries to feed it into the middle. It's deflected out. Back to Valima. Valima lays the ball into Jordan Burt. Maybe Burt looks to switch here. Yes, he does. All the way out to Josh Suggs again. Switchbacks being patient, trying to draw out FC Denver, who of course have the 1-goal advantage. So they're not chasing anything. As Eric Fulton mentioned at halftime, he doesn't want to see them drop too deep. That being said, you don't want to see them get stretched either if you're looking to protect that 1-0 lead. Jordan Burt slides the ball through to Uzo. Uzo comes out. Oh my goodness!
That is
He wants that back. He wants that back. Great ball from Jordan Burt on a laser. Found the seam. Toby Uzo rolled his defender. To be fair, the FC Denver goalkeeper Michael Mobu did well to come out and close down space really well. I think as a goalkeeper, Jason, you would have appreciated how quickly he was off his line.
You got to make yourself big, and that's exactly what he did.
Toby Uzo had to just dink it over Moberg, put a little too much mustard on it, and the ball flew over the crossbar. Alina now collecting on the right, drops the ball over to, well, I'm not sure who that was to. I thought maybe it was to Shane Malcolm, but it was perfectly equidistant between Malcolm and Uzo, and subsequently was picked up by an FC Denver player. The Switchbacks still struggling to find their rhythm here a little bit, Jason.
Yes. There's a good scoring opportunity there from Uso earlier, and
Alex Bernhardt on the ball now, tries to slide the ball into the middle. Looking for
Kim clears it out, and
Castillo.
just
Magallanes on the ball. Referee blows
the
late.
whistle and points. Wait, what?
I'm not sure what he's doing there. Nothing. He said he wasn't blowing for the play at the moment. It must have been from something earlier that has resulted in an FC Denver free kick.
I'm not quite sure what happened there. I kind of wish we had some replay, because the referee first appeared to point like directly to me and Mark, so I don't know if he heard something bad from us or not, but he definitely didn't seem to be a foul there.
I don't like your commentating. I'm giving the ball to FC Denver.
Yes.
So FC Denver about 30 yards out. Not quite 30 yards out, maybe. It's the very dangerous Cesar Castillo stood over the ball. Well,
just a bit outside.
Good idea. I mean, you can see what he was trying for. He was hoping for the wall to jump and then to drive it front post. But the wall didn't jump sufficiently, and Castillo shanked the ball anyway. As I like to say, right idea, wrong club. Golf course, Jason. That's a golf analogy. Okay. Switchbacks in the attacking third. Shane Malcolm on the far right. Tries to take on a defender. He does a nice job of cutting between two.
Excellent.
Yes. It's blocked and out for a corner. Nice work from Shane Malcolm. You know what, Jason? The thing that struck me this evening is that nothing the Switchbacks have done has been crisp. It's all been like, forcing the ball through. It's been scrappy. It's been just a product of determination. We haven't seen that crisp link-up play. We haven't seen much in the way of silky skill so far yet this evening. Corner, Valima
again taking the corner.
Long one this time into Uzo. And Suggs with a very speculative left-foot shot well over the crossbar from about 35 yards out. Is it Luke? Yes, it is. Here comes Mr. Switchbacks.
Yeah. And both there is both a good and a bad, because while Mr. Switchback himself comes in, Valima has definitely earned his stripes this game. This is not something because of any bad play on his part. I think he's probably been the most consistent player we've had this game. Who's
Are you going to hate me if I disagree with you?
I can punch you.
You are well within punching distance. It's very intimate here in the commentary box. I think Valima has been the best of the Switchbacks, and I think on occasion tonight the worst of the Switchbacks. And I hate to say that because I do rate him as a player, but just consider the beginning of the second half and the first touch. That was wayward. Lovely roll there from Shane Malcolm. Looks like the ball went slightly out of play. Rolled his defender beautifully there on the far left-hand side. And I think Valima has cut a frustrating figure out there. I like you and I'd like to see him stay on the field because I think he's a quality individual, and I think when he's good, he's very, very good. But I'm certainly not sad to see Luke Vercoloni out there. Luke, as we know, can be a game changer for the Switchbacks.
Yeah. Well, and I think putting Luke in there kind of lets the team know that they're not going to give up on this game. They're not going to just basically have a glorified scrimmage, and that we're still playing to win, which is a good sign. Of all the players who could benefit from rest, Luke is probably one of them. Oh, and Jordan Burt there almost lost the ball. Looking for someone across the field. And Shane Malcolm heads it on, and there's a very, very dramatic collision there. I'm sure that felt worse than it looked because it didn't look like much. And Uzo hears it from the away team's crowd. I'll tell you, it is a bit unnerving to sit here and listen to. I don't think I've had this kind of feeling about being in a stadium that in a home field that wasn't very. It doesn't feel like home field since we played Mainz a couple of years ago when I was the only person not speaking German in the stadium.
Yeah, it's certainly uncommon to hear this much noise from the away fans.
Again, Switchbacks just not having that final touch. And again, Jordan Berg gives one up. And number 14 there has a face full of grass for his efforts. And my commentating partner appears to have lost the clip to his mic, which I know is a relief to some of you.
Ever the professional. Here I am.
Unfortunately, the traveling supporters are definitely making their voices heard, and I gotta say, looking across, the Bruisers are in their normal section. Standing, don't really see much other support here for Switchbacks, which is really a shame.
So Switchbacks with a free kick, about 35 yards out. It's Josh Shug stood over it. You have to imagine from this kind of range, Jason, he's probably going to drop the ball into Uzo, just in behind the FC Denver defence, and that's what he does.
Jordy on the back.
Oh, yes! It's connected! It looks like it might be Abusi, perhaps.
Yeah, it looked like that was Pascal Abusi.
It was certainly aimed at Toby Uzo. It was a beautiful ball. Josh Suggs put it exactly where we anticipated, in behind the FC Denver defence, begging for a connection. There were 3 Switchbacks players lined up trying to connect with it. I think Jordan Burt was one, Toby Uzo was the other. But it looked like Abusi got the final touch. It is Pascal Abusi. The PA has just confirmed it. Try and keep up, guys.
And again,
we have a game, Jason.
We have a game. The FC Denver fans and the team desperately pleading with that there was an offsides there, but there didn't look to be. And as we talked about earlier. Again, the set plays has been the bread and butter of this team all season long, and it gets them the. Well, that was just a cluster. You definitely don't want to have injuries on the field, but we definitely don't want to have two of our guys hitting each other.
Now, despite what the scoreboard says, the game is actually 1-1. Pascal Abusi stroking the ball home within 10 minutes of the restart. Well, I say stroking the ball home, I'm making it sound more glorious than it was. But then I don't really care. However it takes to get the ball in the box. Luke Vercoloni doing his usual Energizer Bunny work in the middle of the field there. Knocks the ball into Artie Laban, who then just it back into Luke Vercoloni's head. Luke with a flick header just wide of.
And you can tell, again, Vercoloni comes in and he raises all boats.
It's incredible, isn't it?
The play of everyone else on the field, even when he's not directly involved, just seems to bring a sense of calm and composure. And which is exactly what we need, what Switchbacks needed to get a goal in the first 10 minutes of the second half. Now, having said that, we are going to have a winner tonight. There's no...
Magdalena's trying to make progress down the left-hand side, gets cut out. Nice
Excellent defense by Marty Maben.
Absolutely.
And
You know what, actually, Marty Maben is a good shout for most effective player so far, in as much as he's played the Wayne Rooney role tonight. He has covered every blade of grass, which I don't know that the coach necessarily wants for him to be doing that. He probably wants Marty Maben in an advanced position further up the field, but Marty has hustled like nobody's business this evening.
we saw Toby Uzo there having a collision with the FC Denver player, and
Syed Robinson now on the right-hand side. With only one defender to beat. Surely he's going to turn on his speed, and here he goes. On the outside, nice ball into the box. Oh, behind Uzo! It's an in! It is! An acrobatic finish, I think, from, is that Jordan Burt?
no,
Maybe Martin Maben.
No, it was Urel. And there is the.
It's hard to see when they get swamped by their teammates, but who can blame them? That was a fantastic finish.
That was excellent.
I think it was Macias, actually, yeah.
Just like that, the Switchbacks have reclaimed the lead.
Well, Jason, we talked about that at halftime. We talked about the speed of Syed Robinson, his ability to get in behind defenders. There's a great ball across the box, slightly behind Uzo, but it found Macias, who took a touch. The ball pinged up, and then he finished it on the half volley.
And I believe that was all being overtalked by the PA announcer. Okay, Marty.
Marty, we're not here. Marty said, I got the ball, referee,
yes, sir. He said the F word, and the F word wasn't fun.
That was a nice acrobatic half volley scissor kick, though, from Uriel Macias.
Yes, and I think that was probably the first we've seen of Saeed's skill and speed tonight. The first time he's really put on that extra gear, and I think he caught his defender off guard by that.
You know, I thought it was Jordan Burt just because of the way the goal was scored, and then I wanted it to be Marty Maben because I'm desperate for him to score. So I apologise, Uriel. It wasn't anything personal.
It was all personal.
And then the moment your teammates swamped you, it was impossible to make out who had done what. So, but we got there in the end.
Yep.
Unlike Josh Howe and Roland Vargish, we don't have the benefits of audio
replay.
Or a big screen.
Yes, but we do have the advantage of having no one around us.
Nor do we have 20/20 eyesight.
So if you're the Switchbacks here, do you keep the pressure on and get that third goal, or did you kind of just sit back and take some air out of the ball?
No, I think the Switchbacks only know how to play one way. It's high pressing, particularly at Fortress Sand Creek. And I would be disappointed were the Switchbacks not to register another couple of goals this evening. That being said, FC Denver continue to be a dangerous outfit, and I don't think it's beyond the realms of possibility that we might see them score again before the evening's over. Let's hope by then, though, that it's nothing more than a consolation goal. But we have a very tight game as of right now. 2-1 the Switchbacks. Nice flick from FC Denver. Oh, very dangerous.
That was dangerous.
Trying to make out who that was. Was that McGuinness again? The gentleman who never scores with his head? Oh, nice footwork from Syed Robinson. Couldn't quite get away from his man.
Muscled off the ball.
Yeah. Castillo with a nice ball through the middle, and Poati had to be on his toes there again. Is that a handball? Looks like it might be. Yeah.
I'm quite surprised that he had to get the assistance of the line judge to call that.
I'm perturbed. I don't understand why Moise Poati is being asked to come outside of his box so frequently to clear danger that it would seem like the centre defenders should be mopping up.
Yeah, you know, FC Denver has done a good job of finding that space between where the defenders are and where Poati's comfortable with, and in that space has basically forced the defenders and Poati into making decisions that the other ones just don't like, and we've seen it cost us in the first goal, and in this situation cost us a free play.
FC Denver now with that free kick, about 40 yards out. Surely too far to shoot, but Castillo's over the ball, so who knows? Hat-trick hero from the last round. What does he have here? He goes for the shot, and it's well over the crossbar. He knew he had to put some welly on that, but overplayed it a little.
And if I'm Pawati here, I know we want to hurry up and score, but I think I'm going to sit and get some composure back, because that was following a dangerous sequence that happened there.
So we know the winner of this game will head to Texas to play either San Antonio of the USL or Sockers FC of the NPSL.
Sockers FC?
Sockers, Sockers.
Oh, it's a pun. Oh.
FC Denver picking up the ball again in a dangerous position about 40 yards out. Sliding the ball out to the left-hand side. Where it's collected by... straight back to Pawati. Sorry. It was momentarily collected by Carl Kraus, but his ball into the box was short and Pawati gobbled it up. Toby Uzo taking the ball off his chest again. Not settling it quite enough. One of his teammates to capitalise. FC Denver down the left-hand side again. Number 14, Alex Bernhardt, who actually scored in the last round in their 4-2 victory over Azteca.
And Pascal just muscled him
Yes,
down.
he did. And the ball went straight through to Shea Malcolm. Now the Switchbacks have numbers. Malcolm on the left-hand side. Oh, doesn't make the most of it, but he has another opportunity. Cuts it to his right. And the referee is waving it on. Shea Malcolm went down heavily in the box. Didn't really seem to be a lot in it, to be fair. And the referee waved play on. Interesting in that situation, Jason. Oftentimes a referee gives a penalty or gives a card for a dive. Do you think Shea Malcolm just slipped there?
It looked like he stood on top of the ball and lost track of it. Like he was trying to be a little, some trickeration there, and it just didn't work out for him.
Oh, great. Now we've got to pay Roland.
So it looks like we're going to have Luke out there taking the kicks.
That's actually a smart move. He can deliver a good ball. He's not the tallest on the field. So having him out there providing. Let's see how that works. Nice ball into the box. Can Uzo get on there?
Oh.
Good collection. It was Jordan Burt at the back post. Actually went over Uzo's head. Burt drifted the ball back to FC Denver's goal. Wasn't particularly challenging for Moberg, but he did what he needed to do.
Oh, we got... Boy, I think everybody in the stadium, every time Pawati goes running out of his box with the ball at his feet, holds the breath a little bit. Looks like we got a sub.
FC Denver on this occasion. Their first sub of the game.
We have a substitution on the bench. FC Denver player Joseph DiNardo is coming on for Alex Bernhardt. This substitution is brought to you by the
So Philip Joseph DiNardo takes to the field, number 2. To see where he slots in. From this dead ball situation, he's heading up to the Switchbacks box, but we'll see when the team reshapes where he's actually playing on the field. So FC Denver drifting in a free kick to the back post where Donato and one of his teammates wait, but it drifts out harmlessly. Yeah, so as I mentioned, the winner of this game, Jason, has to go to Texas. Either play San Antonio, who we know will give them a game, particularly in Texas.
Or the Sockers.
Or the Sockers from the National Premier Soccer League. You have to imagine that the Switchbacks obviously want to win this game, but probably wouldn't relish a trip to Texas on their schedule, Jason.
Yeah, traditionally we have never had any luck in the quote-unquote great state of Texas.
So the Switchbacks have a free kick about midway between the halfway line and the edge of FC Denver's box. Jordan Burt to take it. Nice ball into the box. But FC Denver do a good job of clearing it. Now they're looking to counter. They only have 3 against 5 though. Now they have 4. 4 against 5. Let's see if they can make hay here. Castillo does a great job of digging that out from his feet. Tries to find, I think that's Donardo. No, it isn't.
Another. Again.
Oh, again. Poati now with the ball at his feet. Castillo shutting him down. That is a good effort.
Yes,
number 17,
and the Switchbacks are lucky to get out of that situation. I don't think Poati realized that the ball had ricocheted off of Cesar's butt, so he could have picked it up in that instance, instead choosing to dribble into his box. And again,
again, Poiti's down on the floor. Perhaps he bruised his embarrassment.
Yes, I believe he may have a fractured ego right there.
But it has been those, and I hate to use the word because it sounds disparaging, particularly in current company and as well as they played tonight, but amateur mistakes. It's been amateur mistakes on behalf of the Switchbacks that have created this chaos.
It seems to me that the Switchbacks came into this game expecting expecting to take their physicality and their style of play, and FC Denver to basically be cowed by it, and that they haven't. They've taken it full on, and they've have been just as physical. And Poati, you can't blame it all on him. Has had some sketchy moments this evening, but those moments were created just off someone's head. Those moments are created by FC Denver hustling and our own mistakes.
Are we announcing man of the match at 70 minutes?
No, I think they're trying to get people to call in or go to Twitter.
Can we just say, in the interests of modesty, please don't vote for Jason or I.
Oh, I have so many like insulting things I wanted to say, but now that we're on the air, it's like FC
Denver making progress on the right hand side, but the ball goes just out of play on the cutback.
Yeah, I really got to thank you, Mark, for being here, because with you here, I am no longer the stupidest person in the room.
That's very much debatable. Maybe we'll put that out for a vote. Just got our first note on Twitter, Jason. A nice note from Andrew Bolt. I appreciate your comments, Andrew, thanking us for putting on the commentary this evening. I hope you're enjoying it. Hope you're certainly enjoying the performance from FC Denver.
And again,
your boys are doing themselves proud tonight. Ooh. That's a great flick from Uzo. I thought Marty was
just
away.
offside.
When we listen back to this, Jason, we're going to be amused by the tone of our voices there. We're both like injured parents. Oh, Marty!
Well, it's also great to hear the.
Jordan Schweitzer is taken to the field. I'm not sure who he replaced.
He replaced Malcolm.
Shane Malcolm, okay. So this reshuffle, we'll probably see Schweitzer going into the middle, I imagine. Might push Luke up. Yeah, looks like that might be what's happening. Oh, Poiti's made a mistake! FC Denver scored! I'm sorry, Poiti, you can be as mad at the defense as you want. That is all on you.
What a howler. What a howler. And all night long they've been able to find this magic spot where Poiti is unsure of what to do. And that was just, I apologize that we do not have instant replay, because I think that would have been. Now, wait a moment here. The officials are getting together.
Yeah, the referee's making his way over to the linesman. I will say, Jason, regardless of what they determine here, somebody needs to take control of the centre of defence. We are not professional commentators, we are fans first and foremost, so this may not be entirely professional, but I gotta tell you, I'm furious with the way our centre defence and goalkeepers have played.
They just waved off the goal. They waved off the goal. I'm not sure we're going to get any explanation.
An infringement in the box,
This could become ugly as the ref is patting his chest.
Well, FC Denver has to feel robbed.
The only thing I can think of is that there was an offside, an offending player.
Either an offside or maybe a shove or something, and then heart of that defence is hard to see with so many bodies in there.
Yeah, it could have been a situation where Puati didn't play the ball because the person in offside position was there. I'm not sure. You know what? And they're playing this like this is a goal kick. And I have no idea why this would be a goal kick, because clearly it was in the back of the net.
No, they're playing it from where whatever the infringement was happened.
The line judge had them stop because the ball didn't get out of the box, which is customary for a goal kick. On a goal kick, no one can play the ball until it's completely left the
I wonder
box.
if it's because the ball was rolling. But yeah, you could be right. And they are playing it as a goal kick, which suggests the ball was out of play. Yeah, I don't know.
It looked like it was...
That's odd. Very odd. Nice footwork there from Macias. It doesn't matter because it finds its way back to the left back anyway. Switchbacks are 1 step forward, 2 steps back right now, and they have their get out of jail free card. You have played it for tonight, Switchbacks. Let's tighten it up at the back. Let's not have any more of these mistakes.
And we get the dueling crowds now as the Switchback supporters seem to be a little bit more vocal, matching the intensity and the basic feeling of being robbed, I imagine, is happening right now for the FC Denver fans. I'm at a loss.
Well, that's very helpful for a commentator.
Yeah, I don't...
I love it when commentators say, I have no words.
I have no words. And that's when you say, well, shut up then.
Now, Jason, I want to remind you, as FC Denver throw a dangerous throw in from the right-hand side. It was almost a free kick.
Still
The Switchbacks work it out in their box, though. I'm going to take a moment. Yeah, I'm going to remind you of a connection between these two teams, or at least I'm going to ask you to see if you can remember a connection between these two teams.
They're both from Colorado.
They are both from Colorado, and they share a player. They have a player in common.
Oh, yeah.
One of your favourites?
Darth Vader.
Samir
did some time. There was a connection.
Well, he was on their roster. We don't know if he ever saw field time. We don't know in what capacity. It could have been that Samir hacked their website and just put his own name.
That could be a.
No, I'm talking about a player that we know legitimately took to the field for both of these teams. Fan favourite for the Switchbacks last year.
Are you talking about the mythical Jack Jones?
Jack Jones! Oh. And FC Denver feeding the ball in from the right. Switchbacks panicking again. The referee is blowing for something. Is there a penalty?
He's calling for a penalty.
He is calling for a penalty.
That is, and I gotta believe at this point. I think at this point, I did not see anything that was the FC Denver player appeared to attempt a bicycle kick, and for whatever reason, I'm not going to say that the official is.
I think it hit an arm, Jason.
Yeah.
I think it hit an arm. But yeah, I mentioned 2 minutes ago, the Switchbacks had used their get out of jail free card.
Yeah.
They're all out of get out of jail free cards. Now it's down to Puati. And we have seen Puati save PKs, Jason. He saved 2 last season in spectacular fashion. 2 in the same game, in fact.
Yep.
And now he faces off against Cesar Castillo, who has struggled to find the target tonight. Everything he's hit's been over the crossbar. I've got to say, I hope it's likewise now. But here we go. Puati pointing to his right. Castillo runs up and strikes the ball where Puati shows him as Puati dives the other way, levelling the scores with about 15 minutes to go.
And I gotta say, the soccer gods are fickle mistresses, and we don't have replay to confirm it, but I have to believe Had that prior goal not been overturned, maybe a call doesn't happen like that.
Jason, this game's had everything. It's had the amateur team taking the lead, it's had penalties, it's had called-back goals, which of course could have seen the FC Denver 3-2 up. It's had a hairy commentator and a British commentator. What more could you ask for?
Well,
speechless once again. Without
speechless.
words.
I have no
Castillo
words.
feeds the ball back to Donato. Donato rolls the ball out to the right, comes to number 6. Escobar, who was trying to thread the eye of a needle there and overhit the ball, and Whitey gathered it up gratefully.
Now I got to believe here the Switchbacks do not want this game to go past 90 minutes.
No, well, I don't, Jason. I have a bus to catch.
I didn't know the buses ran this late, man. And I take the bus.
Starbucks coffee after?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good deal.
On you.
Hey, I already got the hot dogs.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's right.
You know, they're $4 here. $4
For a hot dog.
I'm like, is this a Willy Wonka hot dog? Can I expect to find a golden ticket inside one of these wieners? All right, Switchbacks out on the left-hand side, trying to work the ball back into the box.
Oh.
Nicely cleared by FC Denver. Back out to Jordan Schweitzer. Works the ball out to the left. Back to Josh Suggs. Switchbacks struggling to find gaps in the FC Denver armory.
Well, this is the point in the game where conditioning really takes hold, where a team that's conditioned by professional athletes to go full 90 versus an assortment of amateur players who may not have the type of athletic training or athletic prowess that a professional player was. But I gotta say, so far they haven't seemed to lost step. There seems to be no their power seems to be of the aggrieved team feeling like they should be in the lead of this game, and they're playing
Robinson plays the ball on the right hand side, asking Toby Uzo to chase it, asking a lot of Uzo. Nicely picked up though by Miller. He then slides the ball out for a throw in. So Jason, are you suggesting because we're amateur commentators, we're not Josh Howard, Rolo Vargas, that we're going to run out of steam here shortly because we don't have the stamina?
I'm ready for a nap. I'm ready to just curl up. So I kind of turned the light on. It was like, you know.
You were starting to nod there, and I just assumed it was the Switchbacks performance. Throw in from the right hand side, over Uzo, headed out by FC Denver, headed back by the Switchbacks, again cleared by FC Denver. You know, Jason, I think, though I do agree with you that the Switchbacks' superior athleticism should come into play here in the last 10, 12 minutes, it isn't going to come into play until the Switchbacks start stretching FC Denver. Everything they're playing right now is in front of FC Denver. All they're asking FC Denver to do is rise and head, rise and head. Toby Uzo has not had the ball at his feet yet in any position on the field where, well, excuse me, he had it one time where he drew Mowbray and then played the ball over the crossbar. Outside of that, we haven't seen Uzo received any kind of service yet that's enabled him to stretch the FC Denver defence. Until Switchbacks do that, nice header for Uzo! Oh, just wide.
Just as you were saying.
You know what? Commentators curse, and I'm happy with that one. Josh Suggs drifting a nice cross in from the left. Uzo rises tallest. Flick header just past the far post. But still, that said, everything is being played in front of FC Denver. If the Switchbacks really want to stretch this amateur team, they're going to need to start playing the ball in behind and ask them to do some running.
Yeah.
It's all too easy for FC Denver right now, Jason.
Yeah, the Switchbacks seem to be relying on FC Denver to make the mistake. They just keep feeding the ball, waiting for them to break down, and FC Denver hasn't made a lot of mistakes in this game. And Toby Uzo, and FC Denver has had a player down this entire time. Shouts from the crowd to clear it out, but Switchbacks are having none of it. And
nice collection on the right side, Robinson off his chest. He's trying to find that seam. He finds
speed.
that, and he goes around the defender, and he cuts. Oh, nicely tied it up again from Joel Miller. I mentioned earlier that he's the longest-serving player on the team, widely regarded as being the best player ever to don the FC Denver green, and he's certainly showing why tonight. He may be a little older, he may not have the pace of some of his teammates, but he has done a magnificent job of marshalling that defence and of closing down the Switchbacks' offensive threats. Now we see cramps starting to set in couple of Switchbacks players stretching, and we have a trainer on, Tramp FC Denver, player down on the floor, probably also struggling with cramp.
Yeah, he went down there towards the end of the play, and both teams continue to play on, not putting the ball out despite him laying there.
This injury segment is brought to you by Penrose St. Francis.
According to the PA announcer, this injury was brought to us by Penrose St. Francis, so thank you to the hospital for hurting their players.
Ever more of an ironic call out for
This injury
stoppage.
stoppage is brought to you. Oh.
I feel like saying this corner is brought to you by right-angled triangles, provided by Texas Instruments. Just out of curiosity, just my own curiosity, I don't imagine anyone else listening would be interested, but FC Tucson are 1-0 down already to Las Vegas Lights, 1-0 down in the first few minutes. So the team that the Switchbacks put to the sword last year, struggling already in the Open Cup this year.
Now I heard that there was a sub there that we may have missed in that moment of jocularity. And I think the Switchbacks will just play this back to the keeper, and a rare moment of polite applause from the crowd, and I'm sure which will be quickly bursted by anger.
Syed Robinson collects out on the right. Nice Ronaldo cut behind his defender there. Slides the ball. Oh! Tries to slide it into Jordan Burt. It's too long, but now he receives the ball again. Goes past the defender. Oh, he's brought down. Surely a penalty! Yes, it is! Easiest call of the night. You can't argue with that one, unfortunately, FC Denver. That was a stone cold penalty.
And that we see.
And a yellow card to follow. Who's going to take it, I wonder, though? Jordan Burt probably, right?
Yeah, Burt's the normal penalty.
Yeah, Jordan Burt most likely. So Syed Robinson, nice Ronaldo cut behind his standing leg to skip past two FC defenders, FC Denver players at the midway point. Tried to play a ball at Jordan Burt. The ball deflected back into Syed's path. He skipped around another couple of defenders. The last one catching him just inside the box. Down he went. And the referee made the call.
This penalty kick really is brought to you by the speed of Syed Robinson. He 100% from stealing the ball to working it down, and the last ditch desperation hack at his heels.
Jordan Burt facing off against Mowbray for the lead with a little over 5 minutes to go. Referee making sure everybody's outside of the box, getting ready to blow for the kick. Burt takes a moment to steady himself and drives the ball into the top left corner. A confident and composed finish from Jordan Burt. Mowbray really with no chance when a penalty is that well taken.
Now, a couple of notes for our listeners. This isn't the fourth sub that FC Denver has. I thought their last sub was their last.
I thought so too. No, they were one sub behind us. That should be the last.
Okay. Interesting note I got here from Colton T. Killa. I doubt that's his name.
And we have
another instance of Pawati and his back line not having.
Jordan Burt is having words with Pawati.
Yep.
He's waving toward the play, suggesting to him, we need to fix this.
But going back to that disallowed goal, Colton very, very smartly has reminded me in a text that offsides, or that the kick was an indirect free kick. So since the ball went directly into the goal with no one touching it, it's disallowed.
Ah, okay.
So very, very good eyes on that. And
good job, Colton.
Yeah, that was one of those obscure rules that you don't hear much in the pro levels.
I have to say, Jason, if you're a USL team tonight, if you're the Switchbacks' next opponents and you're watching this game, you have to be licking your lips, assuming that we saw some changes in the starting lineup tonight, but the defence is a pretty strong and well-seasoned back five.
Yeah, we have
mistakes we've seen tonight. Now the FC Denver fans are getting riled up. FC Denver on the far left-hand side. I couldn't see which player it was, but whoever it was, he dragged Josh Suggs down right in front of the FC Denver bench. Coach didn't seem happy about it, had words for the referee. As I mentioned, the fans made their displeasure known.
I think there was a combination of displeasure and pleasure, because that's the Switchbacks fans have finally found their voice in this half, and there seems to be a lot of catcalling in between them.
The Switchbacks, though, from day one, Jason, have built themselves on a strong defence.
Yes.
Some years it's been stronger than others. On one season in particular, 2016, it was almost watertight. We haven't seen the level of ball into the box. Toby Uzo takes it off his head and shakes off his defender as though he wasn't there.
I don't think shakes off quite describes that perfectly. I think you need a bigger thesaurus. That was almost a Heisman-esque stiff arm.
It would be absolutely thankless, wouldn't it, to be marking Toby Uzo. He has a man mounted. Anyway, the Switchbacks, well known, Jason, for their strong defensive setup, and yet tonight they have been so shaky. We've never really seen anything like this, particularly at Fortress Sand Creek.
Yeah, I'm not sure where it come from, or even it could be the quality of the opponent. We got to give FC Denver their due, and as we slowly approach the 90th minute, I got to say this definitely is not the normal Switchback. There's only been one time this season that they've given up more than one goal, and they are one of the best defensive teams in the league, and that has not shown well tonight.
If you have comments about the game, you're welcome to reach out to us. We're on Facebook and Twitter. You can search for us on Facebook under Backchat Show to find our page, and there's a link there to a match thread, or on Twitter at Backchat Show. Go ahead, please, and leave us your comments. Anything that you want to say about FC Denver, particularly if you're an FC Denver fan. Any congratulations you want to pass on to them, we'd love to capture them here in the broadcast. So go ahead and hit us up. Ooh. FC Denver working really hard.
Yeah, they earned that free kick.
The final minute of regulation, and they really earned that throw on down the left-hand corner of the field.
3 minutes of stoppage time. Stoppage time brought to you by the Tech Shop.
And here we are in stoppage time, and
It's a dangerous throw again. Let's see. Not launched with quite the velocity of ones we saw earlier, thankfully. How much time do we have for stoppage there, Jason?
There was 3 minutes of stoppage time, so not a lot. I'm sure.
Saturday, May 26th, for Ziggy Bob that night. The first 500 fans in attendance will receive a free Ziggy Bob courtesy of August 21. Gates will open at 5 p.m.
Saeed tucks the ball into Schweitzer, rolls the ball back to Jordan Burt. Schweitzer receives again. To answer your question, Jason, of about 35 minutes ago, now if I'm the Switchbacks, I want to settle the ball down.
Yeah.
Now I'm not looking for another goal. Great ball in from the left-hand side. Wow, blocked by Jordan Burt in the centre of the defence there. Schweitzer had taken that position out wide on the right, and Geordie had tucked inside and did a great job of blocking that. FC Denver still trying to find a way through, and twisting and turning and pulling and stretching the Switchbacks defence.
And we've got to be close to last chance bar and grill right now. I would be surprised if they don't have the keeper all the way in the box, because I can't imagine there's much more time left.
Well, Mowbray is in the Switchbacks half already.
Don't think he's going to score from there.
No, well, he wanted to pick up scraps maybe and recycle the ball if it comes out his way in a minute. straight.
There's a kick
just
and-
outside the box, over the crossbar.
And
Well, there can't be more than maybe a minute, perhaps 30 seconds left. Switchbacks just need to see this game out now. They've certainly taken their licks tonight. FC Denver have acquitted themselves brilliantly. If you were watching this game, you had no idea who these two teams were, you would not be able to determine who was the amateur and who was the professional. In fact, I think the greatest compliment I can give FC Denver is to suggest this is like a wholly professional match from both teams.
And I hope that the disallowed goal doesn't send them home feeling too discouraged. I mean, they have acquitted themselves beautifully.
Yeah, they really have. FC Denver trying to restart play quickly, but about 10 yards further forward than they need to be. Referee's calling them back. I'm glad to see Toby Uzo jogging back to provide a little more support in the Switchbacks half as they look to defend this latest FC Denver foray. Oh, with ball found to Castillo. FC Denver having an opportunity. Oh!
Moise Pawadi just made up for every goal he gave up tonight. That was incredible.
Wow.
That was
his athleticism.
Even the bypassing truck had a honk for that, because that was
I think that was Jacobson, maybe.
That was
the last meaningful moment of the game.
Wow.
Well, we have been needling Maurice Boati all night
long,
with his organisation of his defence. But Jason, as a goalkeeper, I mean,
if there is a way you want our game to be remembered, it's that save. That is going to be the highlight reel of the season. We heard that the Better Business Bureau man of the match is Muriel Asias. Wow. If I had not, I'm still kind of stunned. If not for that save, we would be getting ready for more soccer. So, if you like free soccer, Moise Pawadi just robbed you.
Well, I mentioned earlier, Jason.
Look at even at the end of the game now, he is out chewing on Marty Maben's ear about something that happened. But I hope that's more of a coaching, getting together instead of being something else. But wow, what a game! I almost wish I was in the stands so I could be yelling profanities instead of having to muffle. But wow.
Let's just take a moment to see if we can pick up the FC Denver fans, making their appreciation known for the travelling team. I'm just going to unhook my mic and hang out of the window here. I mentioned earlier, Jason, that this game had it all, and it truly did. Right up to the very last kick, with Moise Pawadi pulling off that incredibly athletic reflex save, and holding on to the ball when the save in and of itself was something spectacular, but he could have quite easily dropped it on the way down. And
it's very, very much made up for the poor ball handling he had, because he snagged that in air when a rebound would have kept the ball in play. And there was many a FC Denver player ready to gobble that up at the death. I'm just speechless, and wow.
So what did the Switchbacks learn tonight, Jason, if anything, particularly from those guys who ordinarily don't start? Was there anything that Coach Tritchu from afar or Coach Harris on the sideline could have determined from today's game that might help them as they prepare for their match against
Oklahoma City,
yeah.
If there was a softness, if there's a soft spot in our team tonight, it was our defense and the goalkeeping. Really, that's all the defense is uncharacteristic, and it may be because we didn't have our normal set back there. We didn't have Jack back there with Pascal Abusi, who's made his way into the starting lineup. I think there might have been a little bit of tinkering, and I think we realized at the end that maybe that tinkering wasn't the best case scenario. So now, going into Oklahoma City, I think the Switchbacks are pretty much going to, if they want to take anything away from this game, is that they came from behind for only the second time in franchise history and defeated a very, very gamey team. And yeah, that's about all I got, man.
Well, let me ask you more specifically. If we're considering Moise Poati not to be a starter right now, with Stuart Sayus having been the number one the last couple of games, and obviously Tambay hasn't started the last few games, Macias, Mabin, Valeri, are we considering... do we feel like those guys did enough tonight to force their way into the coach's plans?
I don't think there's enough really there to break it up. And in fact, I would have said that a couple games ago when Sayus came in for Poati, one of the few times you've seen a keeper benched after a shutout. I thought maybe there was something going on there, but if nothing else, I think he definitely was exposed tonight. And despite the incredulous save, beyond belief, I think this is a game that he would prefer the coaches just forget ever happened. I would be shocked if Sayus was not back to goal in Oklahoma City this weekend.
Yeah, I feel particularly for Marty Mabin and Toby Uzo, who, on the one hand, you could say maybe didn't make the most of their opportunity tonight, but on the flip side, had so very little to work with. The service to Uzo was pretty dreadful, and Marty Mabin, as I mentioned earlier, essentially ended up playing in a Wayne Rooney role where he ended up dropping into his own half, just if only to see the ball. So, though I feel for those guys, because I don't know what went down tonight that they'll necessarily have forced their way into the starting lineup for the next game. You also have to look at kind of what went on around them. But nonetheless, Jason, I mean, heck of a game. We were bemoaning the fact that the Tucson game that we commentated on last season was a bit of a damp squib. This one, very much the opposite.
This was one of the most exciting games I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
I don't think I've... even having to kind of mute my enthusiasm, I don't think I've seen this as exciting game since Mike Seth's late minute heroics back in 2016. And
all right, well, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this broadcast. We hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun doing it. Thank you so much to FC Denver, both their team, for an incredible performance tonight, and their fans for being so vocal and supportive of their team. You made for a great atmosphere. We've really enjoyed being with you this evening. It's been an amazing game.
Thank you to the Switchbacks.
Yes, go on, Jason.
Yes, thank you very much to the Switchbacks organization, Nick and Ed, Nick and James Reagan, for trusting Mark and I to do this, and I hope we at least showed that we're as amateur as the competition was tonight, because the amateur competition was just absolute incredible. So thank you very much to the franchise, and hope maybe we can do this again soon.
Yeah, nicely put, Jason. We'll leave it at that. Switchbacks win 3-2. They're on to round 3 of the Lamar US Open Cup. Good night.
Good night.